Well, here we are again with, I forget what numbered episode this is, but carrying on with reverse engineering how the original kilt maker did that ancient Mackenzie kilt. And I think I've got it because you remember in the previous episode I lined up the cloth with a piece of, not matching, but a piece of cloth of the same tartan, albeit in the same, in a different palette. And sort of trialed it, pinned it up, and it works. It sort of replicates what we saw on the back of the other one, in which it's pretty much even, but every once in a while the sort of, I'm going to call it an error, but it's not an error. It's a necessary way of folding it because of the size of the set, right? We're pleating to the half set. And again, I've never done this before. I'd heard about it, but I wasn't interested in enough to learn how to do it. And I've changed my mind. From now on, I'm gonna be a lot less, well, not less judgmental, but less mean with it. When I encounter a kilt in the future that's the pleating is not as I would do it, instead of ripping into them and refusing to learn how to do it, I'm going to try to understand, because there's still a chance I'm going to learn something, because I've definitely learned something here. So I pleated out the first bit. What I'm doing now, I've got the kilt is on the other table. I'm going to press all the pleats out of it now. And oh yeah, please forgive the laundry noise in the background. So what I've done is, there's our center pleat. I'm just marking the pleats on this sample piece with a bit of cotton basting thread, because tailor's chalk can fade over time. I expect it to fade over time, so I'm just about at the end here. You can see there's the final pleat there, and you know that arrow mark that I usually make, well, I've replicated in yarn, so, or in thread I should say. So yeah, I've learned a bit here, and I could have done the same thing without, in the absence of a piece of cloth. I could have done the same thing with just by taking a zillion pictures, but I'm a tactile kind of person. And I want to be able to have this to refer to. I don't think it's going to be terrifically necessary as I'm working on that kilt, because remember, I marked the center of each of those pleats before I started deconstructing the kilt. But yeah, I mean, I had this one moment. Let me find it. Yeah, it was here. I had this one moment that is usually, let's start from the middle, because of course, you know, this is a large set. If there was a red line here, it'd be perfectly straightforward. We would be moving one element as to the left as we go, which is usual when we're pleating to the set. But because this is a huge set, we are pleating to the half set, so we have to make compromises. So there's a bit of detail here which doesn't match here, but this is just plain blue, so we go there, and then to black, and then from here, was it here? No, because that's entirely logical. We would do the same thing on if we're pleating to the full set rather than pleating to half the set. That's moving one element. That's moving one element. But this is moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. And initially, when I was basing this, because this is correct from the kilt, this is an accurate transcription, but I thought, okay, does it have to be here? Can it be there? So I gave it a shot. I tried, by moving it to there. But the next element has to be, you may not be able to see it in this light, but the two black lines on blue. So if I did that there, if I did that one there, this one would still have to be there, but on the back of the kilt, this pleat would be twice as deep as it is here, and it would have a couple of pleats underneath it. So I questioned it, but I see that I was, in fact, I read that wrong. So cool. Okay, so I'm going to unpin this and just carry on with basting this. And after I've done that, I've put that aside. I'll press the kilt to press all the creases out of it, because remember, I've determined with 25 pleats that at the hip it's going to be 25 inches, and at the waist it's going to be yeah, at the hip 25 inches, 1 inch wide pleat, at the waist 19 inches. We've got 18 3/4 here, but we can subtly increase that just by sewing to one side of the chalk line rather than the other. And in any case, the difference of a 1/4 inch we can make up in the fringe on the edge. So 3/4 inch wide pleat at the waist, a 1 inch wide pleat at the hip. So yeah, so we know that. The other thing too is I'm going to remind you, to show you again, the principal difference in in sewing a kilt to the female figure versus the male figure. There's one important change, and I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to demonstrate it this time. So I'll carry on with this. And I've gone back to filming from this angle over my shoulder rather than my overhead bracket there, because I was finding that the bracket had narrowed a little bit, so that to get my phone into the bracket, I had to take the cover off, the protective cover off the case. And twice while putting it back into its case, turns out that if I put the phone into the case backwards, I inadvertently press the correct sequence. Just by the act of slipping it into its case, I managed to press all of the buttons in the sequence required to totally brick the phone, like twice in a row. The blue screen of death popped up, and I had to proceed very carefully after that. It was a scary and an indestructive moment. So I'm gonna have to fix that thing somehow, possibly pull it apart and remake it, or just put in a spreader or something like that. Okay. It's absolutely howling down rain outside, so I'm quite happy to be working indoors today. Okay, I'm going to carry on with that. I'm going to shut the camera off because you've got better things to do than watch that. And we'll talk to you later.